Sargassum is here to stay. Those words from a Sargassum expert from the Geoinformatics Institute, MGI, who is helping to create a national early warning system to help fishers and tourism interests in particular know when and where to expect it and take protective measures. An MGI team is training members of the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, on how to measure Sargassum levels. A layer of Sargassum along the beach in Port Royal. Those that are dark brown have already started to disintegrate. The light brown ones are fresh Sargassum making their way onto the coast. But Sargassum expert at the Geoinformatics Institute, MGI, Romario Anderson, says it's not a good sign at this time of the year.
Sargassum season typically runs from March to September, but we're going into September, October now, and we're still seeing levels that were of peak quantities. So we're seeing increased levels for a longer time period.
The Sargassum makes its way from as far as the African coast into the Caribbean every year.
That the Sargassum is very influenced by wind and ocean currents. There's also certain beach factors such as the presence of coves that enclosed space that cause Sargassum to become trapped.
Environmentalists say the Sargassum is fueled by pollutants in the sea, and when it gets to Jamaica's shore, it adds to our own problem of coastal pollution by trapping garbage.
When Sargassum is broken down, it leaves a very strong stench, and it also can trap animals such as fish, crabs, and that eventually decomposes in the Sargassum with it and leaves a very strong scent.
Now that stench, as well as certain properties of the seaweed, can cause health issues for persons who come into direct contact with it.
Well, Sargassum won't cause any severe harm, but it will and can cause a severe reaction to the skin, can cause a rash. But especially we've seen it affect in some countries and some parts of Jamaica where it causes a respiratory response, especially if you have asthma or a pre-existing respiratory condition. The Sargassum, especially when it decomposes, can trigger that response as well.
Then there's the impact on the fishing and tourism industries, which is why the MGI is training a team from the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, on how to measure Sargassum levels.
We need it to standardize so we can understand how and why Sargassum is beaching where it is beaching. And our hope from this is to create a national early advisory system for Sargassum, which can help alert fishermen and tourist interests so that they can better prepare for any upcoming Sargassum inundation ahead of time. So, fishermen can, remove their boats because their boats can get stranded. Tourism interests can, put up barriers, establish beach cleanups.
They're also encouraging residents who can to use safe methods of getting rid of the seaweed, as the government does not have the funds to do a wide-scale cleanup of all the affected beaches.
Seeing we just want to preserve our beaches, we do encourage a manual cleanup, so using of rakes, shovels and such things just to not disturb the sand.
So as much of an eyesore and an inconvenience as the Sargassum is for beachgoers, there's no telling how much longer we'll have to endure it on Jamaica's coast.